Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is Best in Slot, and tonight we're going to talk about Prehistoric Kingdom, the upcoming early access prehistoric creature park building game. I've been really looking forward to this game for a very long time. Now, it's not quite hit full-on early access. That's meant to be coming around summer. I suspect it might be a little bit later, but I don't know for sure. I don't really want to comment on that. But if you do want to play a copy of the game for yourselves right now, you can search Prehistoric Kingdom on Steam, and there is a free demo you can download already. I've already played it on the channel as well. If you want to go check out those videos, I think there's 2 or 3 on the demo and the tech demo as well from a while ago. Like I said, this game's been in development for nearly 5 years now, something like that. And it shows, it really does. Today we're just going to focus on the creatures. There are 50 animals, prehistoric animals coming to 50 prehistoric animals coming to Prehistoric Kingdom on the early access release. There are many more planned for post-release. For example, the Spinosaurus is not in this list, but it has already been sort of designed and made ready for post-release. So, you know, we're going to expand past 50 in relatively quick succession, which is really cool. These are the most important. These are the stars of the show, right? These are the creatures that are going to draw people into the game. And today we're just going to look through all 50, going through all the devlogs, going through Google Images, going through the Prehistoric Kingdom Discord, which everyone should join as well. I've pulled out 50 images of each individual prehistoric creature. So we're going to look at all of them. We're going to do some quick commentary and just talk very briefly about the game and stuff like that. We are going to try to keep it snappy. There's 50 creatures here, so each creature should probably have about 10 seconds, otherwise we'll be here all bloody night. But I'll do my best. You know what I'm like, I just like to blather on. I have my red pen, just in case that becomes important, and because I'm a very professional YouTuber. But if you do want a quicker sort of rundown without commentary of all the animals, I will link a video down below. I've completely forgotten the name of the YouTuber, I'm very sorry, but they are involved with Prehistoric Kingdom. I'll link that video down below. I think it's like the Animal Collective or something, and they've got like a really cool video that shows all the animals in nice quick succession without me blathering over the top of it, if that's your kind of thing. So, that said, this is the size chart. There's all 50 creatures right there. Nice little preview of what we're about to look at. But we're going to kick things off with the herbivorous dinosaurs, with the Miragia. I'm going to butcher some pronunciations tonight, I'll tell you that. Miragia? Is it Miragia or is it a hard G or a soft G? I think it's a soft G, but I'm not really sure. So we've got some sort of stegosaurids at the start. The Edmontonia. Yeah, like I said, I don't really have much to say about a lot of these. A lot of these are showing the default skin, and then the alternate skins as well. Some dinosaurs have multiple alternate skins. Every dinosaur in the game, if we move on to Sauropelta, still looks like a grumpy old man, even in a different game. It's amazing. And the Ankylosaurus, which has the new design of the Ankylosaurus. Of course, this is what Ankylosaurus, what we believe it actually looks like. Our perception of what Ankylosaurus looked like has been wrong, essentially. We say it's wrong. Paleontology changes all the time, but you've seen the Ankylosaurus in Saurian, for example. It looks more like this, whereas you go back and look at Ankylosaurus 10 years ago in any form of media, and it had much bigger, bulkier plates and all this kind of stuff. It didn't look, it was more intimidating, but far less cute, I think is the thing to take away from this. Most of the dinosaurs in the game, I believe, have 3 skins total, and then they also have a albino and a melanistic skin. Albino being, or albino depending on your pronunciation, being the white, because there's a lack of melanin, and melanistic being the sort of blacker, darker skin, because there's a influx of melanin. And the interesting thing about that, as we move forward onto the Nothronicus, which is a herbivorous theropod, kind of like the Therizinosaurus in a lot of ways, and the Diplodocus, our very first sauropod with its little spiny boy plates at the back, and the Brachiosaurus. We're going through all the sauropods here. I mean, this is a thick boy. I don't really know. It's like the Camarasaurus in this game has this massive chunky neck. It's amazing. Argentinosaurus looks pretty cool, the biggest of the sauropods in the game, I believe. We will have a little image later on that shows that. And then we're on to Edmontosaurus, which has multiple species. So we've got Edmontosaurus annectens, which I believe is the one going into the game by default, but then there's also Edmontosaurus regalis, so I don't know what is going on with that, but we'll have to see. And there's also an Ugrunaluk, which sounds like a barbarian. On the right hand side, I'm not even going to attempt that one. Cookpicensis, there you go. What was I saying? Yes, every dinosaur will have the opportunity to become melanistic or albino, every single dinosaur. And not only will that attract more people to your park, you know, it's like in real life, if you have a zoo with an albino gorilla or something, that's very exciting. There was one in London Zoo. It was very exciting to people. Not only will that attract more people to the park, but because of that genetic mutation, those creatures will have higher chance of disease and stuff like that, and malfunctions in the hatchery equivalents that they have in Prehistoric Kingdom. We're going to talk a lot more. Shut up, house. We're going to talk a lot more in the future about all the features behind the game and how the game functions. And we're going to do a lot. We're going to go through all the devlogs. We're going to discuss stuff and then do monthly videos on those devlogs. But for now, we're just going to look at the animals. So we have an iguanodon as well. We have that big old thumb spike. We have, again, we have a couple of different Triceratopses. Now, I believe Process is the one coming into the game by default. I love this guy. I love just a little vibrancy in my dinosaurs. That's all I've been looking for. But we also have, on the left-hand side, we have Triceratops horridus, which I believe is the one more people are probably familiar with, generally speaking. And I believe the one, the Jurassic Park Triceratops is horridus rather than Prosaurus. But there we go. Oh, I don't know. The skins, man. The skins. Look at the skins. Moving on, otherwise we'll be here forever, like I say. Parasaurolophus walkeri. Again, the skin design. This is how I always feel skin design should be handled in a game like this, because we can move this around a little bit, right? We've got some... Like this one on the left is a nice, tame, normal skin. And then if you want to go neon and have like a little rave with your dinosaurs, you can do that as well. There's a skin for the boring people and there's a skin for the exciting people. And I really feel that's how it should be balanced, but I'm not saying anything. Now, for the next two images, on the Discord, they're doing like a species profile sort of thing, wherein each creature, there's only been 4 of them so far, but that's the ones we're going to use. They kind of get their own little unique image. I'm going to bring up the first one and show you guys what I mean. So here we have the Platosaurus. Ingulhardi, and what it's going to show us is all the stats for the Platosaurus. It's kind of like these little update images that they're giving us every now and again. It's really cool. It's, you know, it shows us the kind of things we can expect to deal with when it comes to managing our dinosaurs. So for a start, we've got preferred climate. There are multiple climates in the game, including the Mediterranean one we can see over here. Very exciting. We can see what dig site it comes from. We're going to cover the dig sites and stuff in the future, but we also have minimum paddock size, something like Parkosaurus had, for example. Foliage density, like how many trees and stuff it wants, how many big bushes. Water density, same kind of thing. Social group, makes sense, 1 to 6 animals. Privacy, interesting one. So again, I'm going to have to bring this back to Parkosaurus because it was the only other game I can think of that did the same thing. But in Parkosaurus, if you didn't have enough what were called like hiding bushes or whatever they were called, somewhere for the dinosaur to hide away from the public eye, the dinosaur would get stressed because it needs some time not being gawped at by strangers walking past, which is understandable. Or like kids poking their fat little chubby fingers going, "Look, mama, it's a dinosaur!" Nobody wants to experience that, right? I don't want to experience that. Why would Platosaurus? Platosaurus is pretty chill about it though, only needs 20% privacy. I don't know how that's going to be handled. That may be covered in devlogs. Like I said, we're just going to look at the animals today. And security recommendation, which is predictably fairly low. Now, we're going to talk about this in the bottom right. I think I've undervalued how many skins there are. I think it's 3 per dinosaur, alternate skins. Anyways, one thing I really like about this, so you're going to go dig sites and you're going to unlock dino DNA, just like in every other game like this, because it is the best way to unlock dinosaurs in a game like this. There's really not a good alternative as far as I'm concerned, so that's fine. As you get more DNA, instead of... I know it might affect lifespan and stuff like that, but it's also how you unlock alternate skins. So you can see here, that's the default skin, but then you get sandstone, stratified, and then eventually, if you max out the DNA completely, you get black ripple. I think that's a really good incentive to go and hunt down the DNA and max out all your dinosaurs, because you're going to want to see every single skin in the game. You're going to want to have a Platosaurus paddock with all 4 skin types, and then an albino and a melanistic one as well, aren't you? You're going to want to do that, so I think that's a really cool incentive. And we'll see it again here with the Protoceratops, Goby, Tumbleweed, Fractal. Now, I'm not saying this is all definite. These are little preview images. The game isn't out for a while yet, but it's worth just having a look at. And we can see here where the Protoceratops' security recommendation is even lower. It's only 5%. He's less scary than the Plato because he's so little and tiny. Preferred climate, semi-arid. Look at this, folks. It's sand. It's glorious sand. It's beautiful. You can see the paddock size is actually quite a lot smaller. Foliage density requirements. It needs less foliage, it needs the same amount of water, stuff like that, and it has a slightly bigger social group. Moving on, we're going to look at Psittacosis, which is still utterly adorable. We also have some very brightly coloured and absolutely... let's just grab this bad boy on the right, give me a second. Absolutely terrifying Styracosaurus. I'm going to have nightmares about that, fantastic. We also have some sorry, I'm talking far too fast, but that's what I do. Preno, of course, prenocephaly, there we go. And again, what I really like about this is, so we've got this skin on the left, right? It's a nice skin, but it's not boom, you know, it doesn't get in your face, and then this one gets in your face, and this one's quite exciting, and this one's a bit dull, and this one's okay. It's a really nice variety between vibrancy and more basic looking skins, because some people do like their dinosaurs to not be hyper colourful, which is totally understandable. Me, I like my dinosaurs to be hyper colourful, so it's nice that they've addressed the mix, and we should see that quite a lot. If we see it here again, Tyrannosaurus doesn't really have the colours, but it does have sort of simple designs, and then it has more elaborate designs with multiple colours and multiple shades in there as well. And it just looks great. We also have Psittacosis, again, same kind of thing. Oh, this one looks just... Again, I just have to make the head bigger. Sometimes the heads come out a little bit weird, like in the angle, and that's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Moving on, we have Lambeosaurus. Again, same thing. I'm just again with the head, but the crest on this Lambeosaurus is absolutely beautiful. It makes it look like it's got a giant butterfly sprouting out from its forehead, which I think we can all acknowledge is the absolute dream. We also have Ouranosaurus. Beautiful. Some of these images are going to get a little bit older now, but I will have a reference for that when it happens. Pachyrhinosaurus, the ontogeny series. Now, this is the first time we've seen the ontogeny, so I'm going to quickly talk about that. This is a system you will have seen in Saurian as well, if you've watched that game at all. And basically what it should mean is that as your dinosaurs are born as these adorable little infants down here, as you can see, kind of pointed over. There we go. Wait a minute. There we go. As your dinosaurs are born as these adorable little monkey-looking infants, and they grow up, it shouldn't be like... I remember what Saurian used to be like, where you went to bed and your raptor was born bigger and looked different. And now what it does instead is your raptor kind of just slowly morphs over time into the adult version of itself. Well, this should be the same thing. That's what an ontogeny system is. I believe that's how it's going to work in this game. So basically, the infant should slowly become the adult. It should be a slow process rather than an instant process. We should make it look a lot more realistic. I could be out of whack on that one, and somebody will correct me, but I believe that's the point. The reason we've included some ontogeny series will become clear in a moment with the best one. But here we've got the Gallimimus. Might be old. I could not find an official image of the Gallimimus that's been posted on the devlogs, and that's going to be the case for a few more creatures now. So I just grabbed one from Google Images. Basically, it looks pretty old, but I think that's the one that we saw in the tech demo. Wrong image. Boop. We also have the Camarasaurus. Again, same kind of thing. There wasn't an image just of the Camarasaurus. I think because Camarasaurus was the sauropod you can play with in the demo that you can go download on Steam right now. But that's Camarasaurus. Don't look at the other ones. You're not allowed to. You've already seen those. This is man. He's very confused about the situation. He's like, "What are these sauropods doing in my front garden?" Bah! And that's what he sounds like. I don't control. I didn't make that up. That's just what he sounds like. It's not up to me. We also have Triceratops. Again, same thing. Model looks potentially old, but again, it just hasn't had an official image. And we also have Stegosaurus, who, again, not allowed to look at the other ones. Okay, moving on to the final... Oh, no, that's all the herbivorous... Jesus Christ, there's a lot of dinosaurs. That's all the herbivorous dinosaurs, and they do outscale the other ones in sheer number. I'd say there's more herbivorous dinosaurs than the next two groups put together, but they're nicely varied. They've all got really interesting skins and stuff like that. And I think it just makes more sense to have multiple herbivorous dinosaurs, more herbivorous dinosaurs than any other type of creature in the game. But we're going to very quickly move on to the carnivorous dinosaurs. I say very quickly, it's been 13 minutes already. We've got an Allosaurus, very cool. We have a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which comes with both feathered skins and unfeathered skins. So the T-Rex has absolutely tons of skins in this game. Again, this might be I don't think it's outdated, I have no idea. We also have the Utah Raptor. We have a Dilophosaurus, which again, we've got this little species profile kind of thing, and again we've got these multiple skins that you unlock over time, which I really like. I know I've mentioned it before, but I really like that. Interestingly, the security recommendation for the Dilophosaurus is lower than the Platosaurus. Well, Platosaurus is quite a large creature, and it looks relatively small on the image we had there, but it is a sauropod. It's a large sauropodic creature. Sauropodic, that is not a word. Social group is quite low, privacy needs are quite high, but security recommendation is pretty low as well. And it looks great. Look at it. Right, moving on. We also have Torvosaurus. We also have Guanlong, one of my absolute favourite dinosaurs. Very excited for Guanlong. We also have Acrocanthosaurus, which I'm sure will make a lot of people excited, particularly with the ontogeny series we're seeing here. And there's the little baby. And it gets a little older, and you can see the colour starts to come in through the adult. We have our final one of these little profiles for the Dilophosaurus. Again, you can see how they all kind of relate to each other. We've again got the skins down here. The poison dart one looks fantastic, so there's the banded one. Minimum paddock size is even smaller than the others. Social group is nice and big, which you would expect for a Dilophosaurus. Security recommendation quite low, as you would expect for a Dilophosaurus. And again, dig sites and the arid look. I mean, the cacti and the sand, and the game's just going to have such a variety to it that I'm really, really excited about. By the way, I've called these carnivorous because I didn't want to split things into, omnivores and insectivores and all that kind of stuff. But if you look over here in the top right, you can see it is actually an insectivore. We've got this little beetle for its food, whereas if we go back to the Dilophosaurus, you can see it's got a meat symbol, which I think is really cool. Moving on, we also have Carnotaurus, again with the ontogeny. Look at the Pepe. Ontogeny for that. We also have a Oviraptor. We have a Baryonyx. Again, look at the little baby. I'm just obsessed with the babies. There is one baby to come that is going to blow everybody's mind holes, but we'll get there eventually. We have the Ceratosaurus, really showing off that difference between the colours, although I believe this is potentially meant to be the gender divide between the dinosaurs. A lot of the dinosaurs do have differences in the skin colouring between the males and females. Again, that's something you can already see if you go play the demo version of this game. We have Utaranus, again one of my favourite dinosaurs. The dinosaur in my book that I was writing about dinosaurs was going to be a Utaranus. It may well still be, we shall see. And finally we have Velociraptor, which again I could not find a recent image for. Annoyingly, there is another devlog coming out tonight which may have some of these dinosaurs in that I have had to show you guys old images of, but I had to get this video done a little earlier, unfortunately. Can I move that up there? Okay, moving on to the exciting bit. I say, having shown you guys like 40 different amazing dinosaurs, we're going to talk about the mammals, because one of the things that sets Prehistoric Kingdom apart from basically every other dinosaur park builder ever made is the presence of non-dinosaur creatures. It has mammals and stuff like that. It's going to have plesiosaurs and stuff like that. It's going to have this kind of variety we just don't have in other situations. I think it's going to have for aquatic creatures. I'm like 90% sure. There's probably a plan for the future. But for now, ground creatures. There's no pterosaurs planned yet either. It's all ground stuff. But we have mammals. We have daeodons. We have hyenodons. We have Megatherium. Why did I meant to? Weren't you meant to come in? No, okay. Megatherium, which it's a giant sloth. I mean, they could only have Megatherium in the game and I would still buy it, let's put it that way. Megatherium, we have Coelodonta, kind of like a woolly rhino, basically. Mammoths, of course, you have to have mammoths. We have Megaloceros, a classic. We have old-timey bisons. Prehistoric bisons, I should call it. Not old-timey bisons, but that's what they essentially are. They're old-timey bisons. And this, again, really shows the dichotomy between the different genders. Does that mean, look at the difference between these two, those two, the horns and everything. Just these little differences. And even the colouring on the head and the colouring sort of down here and the size in general. The level of detail put into the sort of reconstruction of these creatures is like on such a mass scale as well. That's what gets me. If this was like 20 creatures, I'd still be impressed, but the fact that there's 50 creatures and they all have this level of attention is absolutely mind-boggling to me. Only 4 creatures left, folks. We have the Smilodon Populator and Smilodon Fetalis. Again, I don't know if basically there's a list of 50 creatures that come into the game, and I don't know if the Fetalis is like an alternate skin or if it's a future species, but it isn't on the list. I think it's Populator on the list, or vice versa. I'm not 100% sure how that works. But either way, we've got a few Smilodons there. We have a Paracetherium, big nose boy, and we have Ursa. I mean, how cool is it going to be to have a prehistoric cave bear in your parks in a game by default? I mean, look at it. Look at it. Look at him. He's so angry at the world. He's so excited about Prehistoric Kingdom. He just has to yell about it. Now, that is, you've just seen 50 unique creatures. There is one more thing I want to show you guys, because it's back to the Megatherium, which is one of my all-time favourite creatures. And look at the baby. Megatherium has thankfully been shown to have the ontogeny system, and that means we get to see the little baby Megatherium, which is, just look at the little. I'm going to have thousands of them. My entire park is just going to be thousands upon thousands of infant Megatheriums. Right. I know all I've done is talk to you guys and like list names and stuff, but I'm really excited and I kind of wanted an introduction into Prehistoric Kingdom. Like I say, if you want a quicker rundown and just look at all the creatures, you can do that. I will link that video down below. Big shout out to that person whose name I've completely forgotten. We are going to go more in depth and do discussion, particularly as the game draws closer to releasing, which again I don't really know when that'll be. It was meant to be summer of this year for the early access release, but I'm not sure on that. I don't really want to say that that's when it'll come. I don't want to say that's when it'll not come, but I suspect it might be a little bit later, but I don't know for sure. Anyways, What was I saying? Oh, I've completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of introduce some Prehistoric Kingdom. Maybe you haven't seen all these creatures before. I'm sure a lot of people haven't because there's so bloody many of them. But those are the 50 animals you'll be able to play with when the game releases to early access, at least in 2019, I would assume. As well as this, there's tons of buildings, there's multiple habitats, there's creativity with rocks and tree placement and all this stuff. You know, even on the demo we've already played, you had tons of creativity on the amazing stuff you could build. It may well be the best park builder ever built when it's finished. I'm pretty confident in feeling that it will. There's going to be inevitable comments about this, so I'm just going to jump ahead of it right now. There are going to be multiple comments about how this trounces all over Jurassic World Evolution, right? It's going to happen. And in a lot of ways, Prehistoric Kingdom looks to be a better game. It's worth remembering that Prehistoric Kingdom isn't out. We don't know what will happen, you know, game does not exist yet. And it's also worth remembering, I think Evolution does things differently. I think having the Jurassic Park license does something else for it. I think the quality of modelling is probably a little bit higher. That's no slight on Prehistoric Kingdom, which has great looking creatures, but I'd say the overall quality is probably a little bit higher. And other stuff like that. That said, I am incredibly excited for Prehistoric Kingdom, and I just want people to stop trying to make everything like a battle. You can have two great games, and they can just live together. They don't need to fight, they don't need to murder each other, they can get on, they can hug like these little Megatheriums. Wait, I will make this happen. This is what people should do. The community, look, we don't get many dinosaur games as a community, right? We should want them all to just be as good as possible. This is what we need to do. This is you. This is also you. This. Make it happen, YouTube. Okay, we're going to end it there, but I am going to set up a playlist where we do nothing but discuss and update on Prehistoric Kingdom leading up to release, so you'll be able to check that out down below. This will be the first video. I know it was a little bit of a mess, but I just wanted to show you guys all the creatures. I didn't really have a better way of doing it because obviously I had to talk, because I have to bloody talk all the bloody time. And yeah, loads of stuff coming out. Devlog is coming out tonight as well, so tomorrow we'll probably do an update video based on that devlog, and then I want to go back and I want to talk to you guys about the buildings and the habitats and all this stuff and kind of go through the features and explain them, because there's a lot of really cool in-depth stuff coming to Prehistoric Kingdom, and I think a lot of it warrants its own video kind of thing. So that's probably what we're going to do. Look out for that. Subscribe if you are new, like the video if you are somehow here after 22 minutes of watching me say absolutely nothing of value, and I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers much love as always. Bye bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.